is a theory of mine. People think there's going to be a situation where institutions start scrambling on the secondary market to buy XRP. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. I think the Treasury Department is involved because they're the ones who truly classify money as money. If we have a situation where these guys are scrambling on the secondary market and competing with one another to buy up all the XRP, that's not going to work in anyone's favor. What I think happens here is the G20, G30, G7, IMF, World Economic Forum, World Bank, and the BIS come together behind the scenes along with global governing bodies and say, what do you move what have you moved for the past 5 years? Daily, monthly, annually. China, Russia, all the countries that fall under these G organizations are likely going to have to give reports to whatever hierarchical body, i.e. the IMF. The IMF is going to look at these numbers along with corresponding treasury departments throughout the world and say, you need this much XRP and this asset, you need this much, you need this much, you need this much. The payment service companies that are going to be responsible for facilitating liquid value to coincide with the messaging system. Because here's the thing, right? If you move $50 billion in a message, at some point, the real movement of liquid value has to happen to correspond with what you just said. So what mechanism would be used to move that, right? So I think everyone who's adopting the messaging standard, because payment service companies are as well, they're going to have to come up with some sort of a fair agreement for each of these countries so no one has a monopoly on it, right? Because I think that's a situation they'll want to avoid, i.e. Russia coming out of nowhere, hitting the secondary market, and then buying, a crap ton of it, right? Then what happens? I don't think that's going to work that way, and Russia's also a G20 country. So when we circulate this back to price and what you said earlier, institutions are not going to use 48 billion XRP, because that's what people are doing. They're taking the circulating supply and they're dividing it by, the amount circulated daily, I think, in terms of, money moved, and then say, oh, well, okay, if you do that, you can get a $200 XRP well, here's the thing. You may want to lower that number because in addition, the lower that number is, the higher the price is going to go, right? I don't think any institution's going to be holding 10 billion XRP even, right? So we're going to see a